Hello, friends, and all my jolly other people out there. Welcome to episode 2 of a Christmas Films Unwrapped. Christmas Films Unwrapped. I don't know why I decided to name it that. I thought it'd be something cute because, we unwrap things for Christmas. And I'm not alone again. Today I have a very special guest who's going to be going over a special movie that she specifically likes. Her name is Cher. Cher, what's up?
Nothing. I'm so excited to talk about this Christmas all year round fantastic movie.
I do this all year round. I dress in holiday wardrobe. I put up a Christmas tree anytime I can. Lights are flowing. HOA's giving me a lot of letters telling me that I'm in some type of violation. But yeah, today's Home Alone movie. What can we say about it? First of all, when were you born before this movie came out? Jesus Christ. How old are you when this movie? How old are you when you first saw this movie? First of all, that's what I want to know.
Probably 4 or 5.
Okay, you were 4 or 5. So what year were you born in?
93.
My God, I am an old.
I think
man.
This one came out in
1990.
Yeah.
1990. She was just. Oh man. All right, we're not gonna age ourselves here. We're just gonna have a good time. For those of you who have not watched episode 1, make sure to go watch it. I'm just gonna give you a quick breakdown of what the show is about. I would call it a podcast, but we're kind of like a hybrid. We do both video and audio. So we're here to just talk about some of the great movies of our childhood and probably and beyond, because there's been some other great movies that have came out. We don't like going in order, breaking down scenes, none of that crap. We just like coming on here and just having a good time and sharing some fun moments from our lifetime. Like 4-year-old Cher did when she first saw Home Alone, 1990. Let's just get right into it. This movie starts in chaos, does it not? This movie, kind of like your background, just starts in complete, utter disaster. We have the entire family, the McCallister family, is going away on vacation. First of all, this is filmed in Chicago. You know the town very well. City, state. I don't know. A lot of people just call Illinois, right? Illinois. They like to call it.
The S is silent.
They like to call Illinois. The entire state of Illinois is Chicago, by the way. So,
well, to be fair, like all the other counties have less population than just what Chicago
of course,
has.
Right?
So
yeah.
We kind of don't matter.
No, you do matter. Everyone matters in some way or form, but not really. Not when it comes to Chicago, the state of Chicago.
The state of Chicago.
Yeah. So first of all, the story begins in, like I mentioned before, in a Chicago suburb. I have a bunch of notes here in front of me that I'm just going to kind of just glimpse through as we're talking here. A few days before Christmas, the McCallister family is preparing for their trip to go to Paris for the holidays. First of all, the McCallister family is full of a lot of people. There is a lot
of people.
A lot of people in the McCallister
A lot of
family.
Kids all the same age group, too.
Yes.
Like, in my experience, typically, there's going to be, like, a couple kids in one age group, a couple kids. They've got, like, 87 teenagers in this house
they do.
right now.
And everyone has an attitude. Everyone has an attitude. No one talks nice to each other. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this 1990 version of children, but they were all nasty to each other. They were nasty to their parents. They were nasty to the makeshift cop that was in the house just standing there.
Oh my gosh, I know.
How do you have a house with so many adults and so many people and just a complete stranger standing in the middle of your house? First of all, that wouldn't happen today.
Very early 90s.
That is
for that
super.
To be going on. So latchkey kids to just ignore the person in the house. Like,
now, if you guys haven't watched Home Alone, I mean, I don't know. This thing is played everywhere. It's free. You can watch it pretty much anywhere now because it's just one of those films that are just So wholesome to watch for the holiday season, and we'll get into when I first watched it as well later on, because I'm an old man. The family again consisted of Kevin McCallister, which is played by Macaulay Culkin. He is an 8-year-old boy. His parents, Peter and Kate, played by John Hurd and Catherine O'Hara. By the way, she still looks the same. Catherine O'Hara has not changed.
She is amazing.
She is amazing. And as we mentioned before, his numerous siblings and cousins. Now, Kevin is frustrated by his family's neglect, and he, off the bat, just wishes they would disappear. This man is nasty.
To be fair, Buzz kind of needs to disappear. Like, Buzz should be...
Buzz is another one that's been around in television for a long time.
Yeah, Buzz is kind of awful. He should have been, like... As a parent, the parents just not seeing that Buzz is doing anything wrong is so backwards to me, because I blame all of my kids.
But Buzz plays such a great role, as in like this wants to be this innocent, like, I can't believe, like, he plays the role so well that we all have as older siblings.
See, I'm the youngest, so maybe I get it, because I'm the youngest of 4.
Oh,
but
wow.
like,
Okay.
For sure, when my 2 kids get into something, they're both in trouble.
Like, right now, this is amazing. I love that this is going on in the background. This is so, like,
I am on edge, not yelling at them right now, when they're both in trouble. Because my oldest is the one that plays innocent, like Buzz. So he's the one that, I didn't do anything. I can watch him do something, and he will try to, like, convince me that my eyes were wrong, and I did not see what I just saw him do.
They all do it. Like, they all do it. And I love it. Like we mentioned before, now he wishes his family would disappear. Very 8-year-oldish of him. I think at some point we've all wished our family would leave us the hell alone.
I still do, and I'm 30.
Yeah, look at you. Still, God, I'm old. This house is ginormous, by the way, that they live in. This house is a real home. It's not a set. This home is in Chicago, in the suburbs of Chicago. This place is, I mean, incredible. The attic was as big as my apartment that I grew up in. And I say that because he was sent to the attic as punishment for the way that he talked down to his mother. I'm Puerto Rican, and my Puerto Rican mother would have honestly slapped the lips right out of my face if I ever spoke to her the way he did.
Yeah, he was definitely a brat, for sure.
You think?
That was their parenting, though. I mean, we see how they are with Buzz, but they for sure lived in, I know you have family in Chicago. I don't know if you've ever been to the suburbs of Chicago. There's suburbs that are very rich people.
Oh, yeah.
They for sure lived in those. Like, you can just drive through those suburbs and you're like, I get it. I get that that's where these people live.
Yeah. I mean, when they ordered airport service, they got airport service. They got 3 vans. It was incredible. And let's get right into that. During the evening, a storm passes by, causes an outage. The McCallister family oversleeps. The alarm doesn't go off. They're rushing around, in a panic. The neighbor comes over. Then one of the neighbor kids comes over to see what the hell's happening, and he's kind of just like messing around in the airport van. And as he's in there, one of the siblings counts him as he was one of the kids that was being counted for the trip.
Yeah.
And the family takes off without the neighbor kid, by the way. And they leave.
Yeah, because
Kevin,
he says, have a nice time. Bring me back something fresh.
Yeah, bring me back something fresh. Yeah. He goes. So they leave him. They leave him. By him, I mean Kevin, upstairs in the attic. He comes down, and he's looking around, and sees no one, as if his wish actually came true.
The wildest part of all of this to me. Now, maybe it's because I'm a person with anxiety. If I have something that I know I have to be up for the next day, I am waking up every hour.
Yeah,
all night long.
Same.
Like, oh, it's 2:00 in the morning. I don't have to be up till 6. Oh, it's 3:00 in the morning. The fact that nobody woke up is so crazy.
Cher, the problem is that you have a house that big. They don't have a care in the world if you have a house that big, okay? I need to know what the dad was doing for work. I need to know.
She was a fashion designer.
She was right. So dad must have been a stay-at-home dad who grew mushrooms or something.
To be fair, she was serving looks throughout the movie, so she was definitely,
you're right. She was killing it. And as we mentioned, as he gets up and he looks around and he's like, "Oh my God, my wish came true." He's like, "They're gone." If you were being put in that position, you're 8-year-old Cher. You just woke up. Everyone is supposed to be going to this vacation, and now the house is empty. How and what the hell are you thinking?
I don't remember being 8, so I don't.
It was like 3 years ago for you. Come in.
As a parent of a 9-year-old, though, I know he would freak out.
Yeah.
Like, he might last like a solid hour. Like, okay, I can fix my own cereal, and
sure,
like I'll fix cereal and I'll watch a little bit of YouTube. But then once he needs his next meal, which as like he needs to eat every 30 minutes, he thinks he'd be done for. I think I probably could have done better than him because I did grow up in the 90s. And I was kind of a latchkey kid.
I mean, you grew up in the 2000s. Let's be fair.
I grew up in the 90s. I was 7 when on 2000. Like, I grew up in the 90s.
Okay.
I have siblings born in the 70s. Like, I'm the youngest of 4. I got treated the same as the sibling that was born in 79. So
well, I was 8 years old. I was as old as Kevin when this movie did come out. So I did grow up in the 90s, by the way.
Okay, my brother's the same age as you.
Okay, all right, there you go.
Like, but I got raised the same as them.
Of course. Yes,
you know, you're this age now. Like, I probably would have been okay because I kind of did get left home alone at that age.
We kind of the 90s were totally different. My mom wasn't really a fan of leaving us home alone. I have 2 other siblings, younger ones, but you know, we could hold our own. It was a different era, and that's us how we grew up. You know, parents had to work. We kind of just left you a note with all the emergency contacts on the refrigerator next to the phone to let you kind of know what's going on. So pretty crazy that time we grew up in.
Yeah, I mean, I could make some killer ramen noodles at that age. Like,
we're using the microwave.
Oh no, I was on the stove.
Oh, okay, because I mean, I had just gotten a microwave, so I was like trying to microwave everything at that point. That's how old I am, people.
Everything was in the microwave.
I remember putting in a can of Chef Boyardee in the microwave, and my mom coming home. I was in my room doing homework, and she just freaked out and had a meltdown. Like, dude, are you dumb? You just put a can, like, you can't. This is like a bomb in there, and I'm like,
and you're like, how am I supposed to know?
I'm like, bruv, I'm just trying to make myself some Chef Boyardee with meatballs.
I think that was also the difference is that Kevin was obviously spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin didn't know how to do things for himself. He kind of learns throughout the movie, but he really didn't know how to do anything for himself. They lived in this house. They had people that everybody did everything for him. Like, and I think that we do see him kind of mature a little bit, as much as an 8-year-old can mature throughout the movie. For me, I'd have been solid on food. Like, I can survive. I'll figure out something to eat. I'm terrified of the dark at that age. There is no way that I want to be in this giant house by myself at
That is true. The man has cojones. Like, he was just chilling. It was his home. I'm glad you brought that up because the film now starts picking up. Obviously, we mentioned a cop in the beginning of the movie, which is Harry, played by Joe Pesci, and then there's Marv, which we see later on, who's played by Daniel Stern. 2 iconic characters. They played the 2 burglars so well, and I don't think I've been thinking about this in my head and going back to actors of that time, and I don't think there were 2 actors that could have played the role as well as they did.
Yeah,
It
they were
was incredible.
fantastic. And I always love one of my favorite things from that movie is the faucets that he wants them to be known as the wet bandits.
The wet bandits.
Not
So
only are they robbing people, they're flooding their houses.
They're flooding the houses. Yeah. So there's a slew of break-ins throughout the neighborhood. Every time the cops get there, the sinks are overflowing, and they're like, "What is it with the overflowing sinks?" Oh, what are we doing? The wet bandits, I guess. I don't know. So they're actually known as the wet bandits. They got the wanted posters as the wet bandits. It's just pretty funny because they wanted to be known as something because they wanted like the lineage of other burglars and whatnot who had
they wanted to be infamous.
Yes, they want to be infamous. Yes. Now Kevin, as the movie moves on here, Kevin revels in his newfound freedom of just being on his own. He's having a great time at home. Harry, again played by Joe Pesci, and Marv are targeting his home. They realize that after following Kevin around, no one's home, that he's there by himself, and they want to break into the home. Now, one of the things that I realize is that Kevin needs food. There's no food in the house or anything. And when he goes to the store to go buy food, he's still very sassy. He's sassy with the clerks. He's looking for toothpaste, and he's like very sassy about it. He's like, "What do you think I am, a kid?" Like, a real dick, if to put it into better words. But he got 2 huge bags full of groceries for $20. The 90s, my friends. If I'm an old man now who buys his own groceries, and it was insane. He's walking. Obviously, they break open, and it was pretty funny. But as he's
that person at the grocery store did a terrible job.
No, they did it. Well, I mean, he was being a dick. So he's walking home with these 2 huge bags, and I'm thinking to myself, $20. First of all, the house is huge. I need to know how much that dude paid for the house. Now he's walking home with.
To be fair, if he bought it in the 80s, it was probably like $30,000.
Oh my God, you're right. That house was probably like a stick of gum and some extra change he found in his car. Now they like I mentioned before, Marv and Harry are ready to break into the house. Kevin realizes that this is happening and starts setting booby traps everywhere. Now, is this movie about 2 burglars who are trying to break into a house and meet the most ingenious kid in the world? Or is it a movie about a kid who is left home alone to fend for himself from 2 wet bandits?
I think this is the backstory to a person who is going to become an absolute con artist as an adult. Because, like, the stuff that he thinks of to do is just insane. Stuff that my 30-year-old mind wouldn't think to do, let alone an 8-year-old, which I guess you're more imaginative and creative as a child typically. But like the stuff that he does in this movie is just, it's insane. And it's just stuff that he's finding around his house.
Now what's crazy about that is the fact that he manages I feel like the movie Saw probably watched this and took some cues off of this movie because the paint buckets on top of the staircase, which he uses when they're trying to come up the stairs, the way he realizes, hey, it's cold outside, let me put some water on the steps so it could freeze overnight. The blowtorch when the doggy door opens up and he puts his head through it. The electrified, not electrified, but the heated door handle. I mean, Marv does get electrified by him, which is pretty damn funny. When he's trying to turn on, like he's trying to figure out the light bulb situation. Oh my God.
I just like, he's so creative with his traps. Maybe he does become Jigsaw. Maybe you're right.
Maybe it is him.
Maybe that's him. Like, I mean, it could be. But yeah, he's so imaginative with the things that he does. And like you're talking about the traps, even before when they come by the first time and he knows that they're watching when he's decorating the Christmas tree.
Oh
like,
my God,
he
yes.
thinks on his feet and is like, Dad, like
Dad,
yelling when he pretends they're having the party and he's got like the blow up.
What
cloud.
8-year-old thinks like that?
Yeah.
He has the old school Michael Jordan cutout that he uses on the train tracks, like when he does the whole party scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I do have a list here of the things. The paint cans. Kevin ties the strings to 2 paint cans and swings them down the staircase to hit the burglars in the face. The BB gun. He shoots Harry in the groin with a BB gun.
Says, hello.
Bam. The hot doorknob. Kevin heats the doorknob with an electric barbecue starter, causing Harry to burn his hand. And you see the M on his hand, which is pretty crazy. The micro machines, big toys back in the 90s. Kevin scatters the micro machines on the floor, causing Marv to slip and fall. The tarantula. Funny thing about the tarantula is the character who plays Marv said that he didn't mind doing the scene with the tarantula as long as they put a plexiglass between him and the tarantula. So the tarantula is actually on a plexiglass. He's like, yeah, I'll do it, but there's no way this thing's going to be actually on my face.
That's fair.
Because I don't want to cry. We mentioned the feathers and the blowtorch when he gets hit. The nail on the stairs. Remember when when he's down in the basement and gets stuck on the tar and his shoes come off and he steps directly on that nail? Ouch. The icicles, which he uses on the roof to aiming to impale the burglars. The zip line. What kid has a zip line? Okay, first of all, in a 3-story house, this kid is like well prepared. The iron to the face when he leaves the mark.
That's a good one.
On Joe Pesci's face, that was incredible. And the hot tarp, like we mentioned before, when he puts it down on the basement, that was the guy is a genius. He is Jigsaw really in the making. Now by this time, Kate, his mom, finally realizes that he is missing. Now she's sitting in the plane this whole time and she's like, God, I feel like something's wrong. I feel like something's off. As a parent, Cher, is there ever a time that you can just sit around and just be freely open and just, I'm okay, everything's good, but you feel like maybe you forgot a kid? Like, you got, first of all, I know we have 2. You have 2.
Yeah.
It's still, you're still having a hectic time with everything that you have to do in the world. Now you add your whole family to it. Now you have all your family. You have his cousins. Let's pretend you have your cousin. How does that even happen?
That part has always been wild to me. We're talking about the first one, but the fact that it happens again in the second one is even crazier to me.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in as more episodes come back, because I want to do sequels and stuff. So,
but it's so wild to me because I am, like I said, I have anxiety, so I get it. But like, I am the person. My niece had a birthday party a couple weeks ago, so we had like 8, 11, and 12-year-old girls, and then my 14-year-old nephew, and then my 2 kids. And constantly, I'm like counting, like making sure I've got all these kids, and I'm like, okay, here's my 2, here's this one, here, like I'm constantly checking, and we're just at a bowling alley. Like if I'm getting ready to go to Paris, I'm seeing your face. Lady at the gate tells me that I need to go board and she'll make sure everyone gets on. No, ma'am, I will wait until everyone else gets on this plane. Like, absolutely not.
Different time too. Different time. Like, you know, you were able to just get your paper ticket, give it to the counter up front. I mean, I could literally walk with you in the 90s. For anyone who's listening to this or watching it, we were able to walk all the way up to the gate.
Yes.
Okay. And if we wanted to, buy a ticket right there at the gate to board said plane, if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. Times were crazy back then. Yeah. Okay. Different world. So finally his mom realizes, oh my God, I don't have Kevin with me. She does the famous Kevin, what do you call the scene? Meanwhile, Kevin's at home. He's using right guard, underneath his pits to look and smell good. He's using aftershave, the very famous aftershave scene where he's he orders pizza. There's a lot going on. Cheese pizza, yes. Pizza. One of the things that I love about this is the scene where he's watching the movie. Where the black and white movie, which he also uses to fend the bad guys away. Little known fact, that movie is not real. Yep. Okay, so they actually made that movie in this movie for that movie. All right.
Yep. And the second movie,
which is pretty freaking cool that they even thought about that.
And it's so funny because it's so iconic in both of the 100%. Movies too. The keep the change and get the hell out of here in that one, and then in the second one is the I'm gonna give you
I'm gonna give it to the count of 3 to get your 1, 2. It's just so great.
You filthy animal. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
and a happy new year.
It's so good. Like
I feel like if they wanted to take this franchise and just do those 2 movies alone, it'd be great. I'd take it.
Like I'll just watch that. That's fine. That's
fine. So now she wants to rush back. She wants to come back and get back to Kevin as quickly as possible. They get to Paris and they're making phone calls again. Like he's on the payphone. Another thing that you'll never find around anymore. They're on payphones trying to find ways to get home. They're calling cops, blah, 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 to come check out the house. The cops come by, they never find it. They're like, oh, we don't, he never opens the door for them.
The cops are so unconcerned too.
The cops are like, why am I even doing this? I don't get paid enough.
Yeah, okay? They're like, our 8-year-old's at home alone, and they knock 3 times, and they're like, they need to count their kids again.
They do,
like,
yeah. Look at this house. Why do we need to come here? Back at home, Kevin befriends his elderly neighbor, Mr. Marley, who he's petrified of. And they share really unique time together. They share their stories, leading to Kevin's realizations about the importance of family. He realizes that Mr. Marley is all alone. His kids, nothing. That was even back then as an 8-year-old. I felt that. Because I was living here in the United States. I came here to the States in '89. I was living in Puerto Rico my entire life, and then my grandfather was left behind in Puerto Rico. Now he spent many years here in the States, so he was not going to come back here. And it was a realization of like, oh man, like I felt that, like grandpa's back alone and stuff like that. So really great scene, really a good B story that they added on to this. This whole thing, out of all the stories that are happening, I thought throwing that into it slowed the movie down a little bit, and it gave it a little bit more of that feeling of Christmas, because they're kind of talking about everything around that, and he finally realizes, man, I miss my family. Like, I miss Buzz. And by the way, he destroys Buzz's room,
Absolutely.
trying to get to his baseball card collection and all that stuff, and whatever money he has saved from all the stuff that he does, which is pretty funny. Those rooms are huge, by the way. These bedrooms are incredible. Now, the burglars' determination to break into the home continues to intensify throughout the movie. And for some reason, Kevin continues to just create mayhem.
They were dedicated, because I would have given up after like the third time.
They wanted to come back over and over, but finally they kind of get one up on him, and they kind of outsmart Kevin just a bit. Now, Kevin's family, having made a challenging journey, finally return home here towards the end of the film. Kevin is preparing for his burglar's final attack, leading to this huge climatic showdown between Kevin and these 2 burglars, with his family on their way back home on Christmas Day.
Well, and his mother's separate from everyone else.
Yes.
Because she refused to go with them. And so she is in the bus with Gus. And the, what were they called?
Oh, the band. Oh.
I have a jacket of it.
You for real.
I am very serious. It's in my closet right now. That's
incredible. Now,
and it says Gus as the name tag too.
Because he's only able to get a flight not directly to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And she's pleading with the person at the counter, which everyone still does till this day.
The Kenosha Kickers.
Oh, the Kenosha Kickers.
He's the polka king of the Midwest.
Rest in peace, John Candy. What a great act he was too. This is
a great part in the movie.
Star-studded cast. They played it so well. They rented a van, a box truck, that they had, and they noticed that she's in distress. She's trying to get home to her son, so they offer her a ride. And throughout this whole ride, they're playing the polka and all this other stuff in the back of the box truck. And, when I'm watching this scene, I'm thinking, it must be freezing back there. I don't know why that's the only thought that went through my head. I'm like, what are these two doing? It must be freezing back there. Not two, but the whole, band and his mom. Like you mentioned before, the family does stay behind. They were able to find that flight for her. She's on her way to Kevin. While this is happening, you get that, like I mentioned before, that final showdown between Kevin and the burglars. It starts to get really, heated up.
Mm-hmm.
The McCallister family, or should I say his mom and everyone, his mom finally arrives at home. Very touching scene, I think. Now, by the way, he does outsmart the wet bandits. The cops finally come and take him away.
The neighbor hits him with a shovel.
The neighbor joins the fun. The neighbor hits him with the shovel. So all is well for Kevin, which is it was I think it was fun. It was funny. The lead up to all of the fights between them, the back and forth between Kevin and the burglars were pretty inventive. Do you think that your kids would be able to pull something off like this?
No. Absolutely not. They would never. I mean, they may throw some Legos down on the floor to detract you for a little bit, but that's about their limit on anything.
You got to give them a little bit of leeway. No, nothing.
I don't think my kids could do that, but
oh my god,
the final part in the movie, I cry every time I watch it. I've seen this movie 8 million times. Every time I watch it, as a mom, especially, finally getting home and seeing that he's safe and everything. And I love Catherine O'Hara. She's amazing. The emotion on her face when she does it. And she just plays the part so well of the mom that is just frantic. She wants to get to her baby the entire time. And just when she finally sees he's safe and then he learns his lesson that he, he does want his family and he's so grateful and everything. Still hilarious that 5 minutes after she gets home, the family all come through the door.
Everyone comes into the door.
She's made this trek in the box truck and everything, and they're like, "Yeah, you should have waited with the rest of us." But that's a mother's dedication to get to her child and everything. Yeah, I always cry at that part. It's so sweet, so well done.
It's funny because
movies
because he kind of wakes up and she
Christmas
opens the
morning.
door. The snow is falling, which, by the way, they did have a real snowstorm in Chicago, so they kind of had that going. Most of the snow that you see beforehand is fake. You can tell a lot of it is like that. It just looks like fake snow and blankets that have fake snow on them. But they actually do get a real one, and which caused problems in the whole process. But whatever, they got it done, which is cool. You got the real snow. It's snowing. It's Christmas morning. The iconic music is playing. She gets in he wakes up. cleaning his eyes. I was like, oh my God, mom. And they embrace, and there's the love. The movie, like you mentioned, the family all comes rushing in, and everyone's like, oh, Kevin, we missed you, blah blah blah. And Buzz is like, I guess you're all right, kind of like being
until
not
he
trying
sees
to
his room.
not until he sees his room. Yeah, he goes upstairs. He's not trying to be too much of an a-hole. I really think that the movie, for me, watching it at such a young age, made an impression, because those characters, I saw them later on in other films, and for me, they were just those people. They were those characters. I could never see them in anything else, and I don't know why. Why was that? Maybe because I was just so young when I first saw it. I mean, Kevin's brother, the younger one, is his real brother. Gosh,
Kieran.
now,
Was it
yeah,
Kieran
Kieran. It's
that played him?
Kieran. Yeah, it's Kieran. And if you look at him, like, he looks like a little snot back then. He still
Yeah.
looks like a snot now. He
Yeah.
he's in the show Succession, and he still looks the damn same. Just put a pair of glasses on him. He has not changed.
Yeah, I think and Catherine O'Hara has been in so many things, and
Yes.
she is two characters in my mind. She is Kate McCallister, and she is Moira Rose.
Yes.
From
Yes.
like Schitt's Creek. That's just, there's such iconic characters that she embraced so much, and she was just amazing in the movie. And of course, Macaulay Culkin didn't do a ton of acting after,
Right.
like he's kind of removed himself from that, but I don't know that it would have been as good with any other kid. Like he just embraced it so much.
And she's done commercials with Kevin Hart for Christmas, the Capital One commercials, which are
Kevin.
Yeah, they are
Love it.
hilarious.
Yes.
Kevin has also done he did the as Kevin, he did the commercial Macaulay Culkin did for Google Nest, where he was, home alone. They had the whole pizza driver thing. It was pretty funny, bringing like all of that back. And I believe like his they've done so many renditions of like Home Alone, and I just, even the third one was just bad, but we'll talk about those whenever I get to it. But this, for me, holds so true. I have some really cool facts here before I let you go that I wrote down. We mentioned the original cast. Now, Macaulay Culkin, who played Kevin, was just 10 years old when the film was made, and honestly, he became an instant star. Like you just mentioned, right after this. We talked about the snow situation. To create the winter setting for the film, they used a special type of paper to mimic snow, along with like different types of curtains or whatever that was. However, they also had to deal with real snow during the production, as Chicago experienced one of the worst snowstorms in decades. The pizza delivery boy in the film, played by actor Rob Schneider, was paid $122.50 for just that role. That was it. He was just there to do that. Keep the change, you filthy animal, has become an iconic quote from the movie, by the way, guys. Like we mentioned before, we mentioned that it wasn't a real movie. Angels with Filthy Souls. That's what the movie was called.
Yeah.
The gangster movie that Kevin watches in the film, Angels with Filthy Souls, is not what we mentioned, was not a real film. It was created specifically for Home Alone with its own script and its own actors. When it came to the injuries, the film is memorable. It's worth noting that Macaulay Culkin and Daniel Stern actually suffered some minor injuries during the production due to some of the physical stunts that they were doing themselves. I love talking about soundtracks and because that makes a film, and goddamn, that soundtrack was just it had all the touching scenes that it needed to, and everything just felt right.
I think anybody that watched a lot of John Hughes movies knows his soundtracks were always top notch. Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Pretty in Pink, The Breakfast Club, any of those. John Hughes was just so many of those movies right there together. The soundtracks are just like perfect. So damn good,
movies. Last but not least, the McCallister house used for the film exterior shots is located in Winnetka, Illinois. with an extra S, and and has since become a popular tourist destination. They, you look at pictures now. They obviously closed the house off because of that. People just kind
Mhm.
of making their way around when they're not supposed to. Um, Overall, definitely a film for the holidays. Um, I saw this movie for the first time on Christmas Day, opening up Christmas gifts. My dad happened to just turn on the TV. I believe we had just gotten cable. So he turned on HBO, and there it was. It had just started, and I fell in love with it from the get-go. I was like, "Oh my God, this is great." As a young kid, new to this country, I didn't have a lot of friends, so I made do with the time that I had with either playing video games or watching films.
Right.
And that was, this was one of those iconic moments. I spoke with Alex Pulaski last week on our last episode, and this is one of those movies that makes me feel whole. When I watch it, the soundtrack, I can close my eyes and I can feel, smell, touch everything that I felt that moment when I was sitting there as an 8-year-old kid watching it. Does it bring back those type of memories for you?
Yes. And as I continue, because I watch this movie kind of year round, as I continue to get older and watch this, it's new memories. So, like watching it with my kids, and I have videos of both of my kids from when they were
Oh my God,
not even 2 years old saying, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal," and stuff.
I
Like,
love that.
I love, and they actually get sick of watching it because I watch it so much, and they'll be
Dare
like,
they?
I know, they'll be like, "No,
They're
this is
punished.
bad."
Just kidding. Can you show us? Can you show us real quick that awesome Funko
Yes,
that
absolutely.
you have? For anyone who's not watching the video right now, she has the dopest Funko Pop set of when Harry and Marv are going up the stairs.
And it has the can
Oh my God,
hitting Harry in the head.
that is so damn cool.
The top of his head is burnt off where he's lost the hair. And
yes, so iconic.
The spiders up on the stairs. It's fantastic.
So iconic. Like I mentioned, the Wet Bandits unfortunately just got slaughtered, man. They just, they lost it. They were beat up by a poor 8-year-old kid. The movie holds up still to today. I think it's still very relevant today. If you were to make that movie now, it's still really good. How many candy canes do you give it? 0 to 5?
I think it's the best Halloween movie, so I give it 5.
Halloween? What the hell, ladies and gentlemen? This has been Christmas films.
Halloween as I say this.
Unwrapped.
I think it's the best Christmas movie, so I do.
It really is. Now, it's not the best in my opinion because I have a long line of other films that I have to watch. But for me, as a child watching this, it also deserves 5 candy canes, 5 full delicious peppermint candy canes, because
and I think if they would have stopped after the first 2, it wouldn't have ruined the Home Alone legacy so much.
Home Alone 2 was excellent. It built upon.
Yes, I think that the first 2 were so good, and then once it, like you were talking about, you're going to review them later, but once it left John Hughes and started moving 3 and 4 and 5, and then there's the new one that's on Disney Plus now, and it kind of ruined the legacy of the Home Alone movies. They should only talk about 1 and 2 when they talk about Home Alone.
That's it. It's all about money. Money hungry people.
Because they see that people still talk about Home Alone 33 years later, and they're like, yeah, let's do another one.
That's crazy when you think about that. The fact that this movie's just, I rewatched it for, specifically for this show, and I love everything about it. Cher, where can people find you if you want to share that? If you don't want to, that's fine too.
I won't call it X, on Twitter.
I don't call it X either.
It's so stupid. At Cher, Delaware. And I have a whole Home Alone Lego set. I was telling you about this before. It has the traps and everything in it. We're gonna put it together. Before Christmas, we will have it together, and I will post pictures of it together. And I'm gonna have to take a picture and post of my Winnetka of my
your
bomber
jacket.
jacket.
Yeah.
I should have wore it for. I would have got too hot sitting up here wearing
Yeah,
that
no,
during
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, each of these episodes are just a love letter to these movies that we've watched growing up and some later on in our adult life. I don't there's plenty of other shows out there and podcasts that just want to break everything down scene by scene. I just want to sit here and just talk and have a good time, just like two people would sit and talk about certain moments in films and whatnot. I just want to sit with my friends and have a good time to talk about movies. And tonight was Home Alone's 1990s Home Alone. And God, it felt good to rewatch it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch it again 1,000 more times after this. Thank you, Cher, for being part of the show. You guys can find me on Twitter, not X, until they stop having me there and completely ban me at _ Alexis Cardoza. And you can find me on Threads and Instagram at Alexis Cardoza together, just there. And we're going to continue doing these. I won't spoil what next week's film is going to be or who's going to be here with me just yet. I'll post it, so you guys keep an eye out for that. Until then, stay jolly, stay happy, drink some hot cocoa, put some marshmallows in it. Feel good, because that's what this time of the year's for. Thank you, Cher. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.